Sure.
It's all running down in Medicare, right? That's fairly new too. Yeah, it's only a couple years old.
The one that's in the room?
Yeah. That Marriott used to supposedly
He
come
still
over and check
does.
down it.
He does regularly.
That's how I found out the breakers
Yeah.
got out.
Well, Brenda noticed it first when she was down there and told him.
Probably the breakers going down.
Okay.
Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4.
I guess they're about the same.
Oh, sure.
Just for you.
You know, one of those do I look like Larry?
Tonight you did. I thought I'd switch it up a little.
Yeah. Whatever you want to do, David, it doesn't make any difference. Whatever you think, you'll end up signing them all anyway.
You could go through your basket, your gift basket.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's good. Especially turkey joints, I used to love those. Yeah, the turkey joints?
Yeah, I didn't get those. They were different.
Oh, really?
I got beer.
Oh, yeah, I know, yeah, you're. You got any left?
Hey, this is Don. I'm with Town of Western Civic Affairs. I'm here with Carol tonight. We're getting ready for the start of one of the last meetings for the Town of Western Town Board as you see it today. This board is going to lose 2 of its members and will be starting next month with 2 additional members, Dwayne Wheeler and Ian Riddell. Those folks are going to be replacing Larry Merrick and Len Charney that you see on your right here. And at this grouping of tables on the right side is Dave Schallenberg in the front here, and Pete Donahue Sr. in the back there. And from time to time, you will see Anna Riddell Weaver and Melissa Rowland, the town clerk, and Riddell Weaver being the town supervisor. So it is 6:38. We're expected to be getting started here at 7 o'clock. There are a few folks in attendance at this particular time in the hall, as the meeting actually starts at 7, but with a quorum here, we can come in and watch them sign the bills and do the additional things that they're doing before the actual meeting starts in the Western Town Hall. So a couple of things that we wanted to talk about today with those folks leaving office here in the next less than 30 days. Well, we wanted to express to the public of Western that according to the LGS1 schedule in New York State, let me check one thing here. Yes, that LGS schedule in New York State for data and records retention, the town of Western and other municipalities in New York State are required to manage the retention of various records in the towns that those members serve in. Those records are important not just to the time that these folks are on the board, but those are important records for anyone in the town, sometimes forever, that those records need to be kept. It supports not these board members, but it supports the public that lives and pays taxes in this town. And so that's why New York State has developed that LGS1 retention schedule for town boards like Western to prevent losing that data in the event someone leaves office, like these two folks will be leaving office here in less than 30 days. Now, if you go to the Town of Western website for the town here, you will see that they use personal emails for all their communications, and in fact, for the last 15 or 20 years, however long they have been using email, the town has been using non-traceable, bogus emails to communicate with each other and the public in the town board via those personal email accounts. And of course, those personal email accounts, regardless, according to New York State's LGS1 schedule for retention, regardless of whether they've used those personal accounts or not, those personal accounts are the records of the public of the town of Western. So I'm going to read that for you here. Of course, these folks won't tell you that because they may not know themselves. That would be a shame because they're supposed to know this kind of stuff. And with the amount of time that these folks have been in office, for them to say, oh, geez, I never knew that. Well, that's just a crying shame. And it shows the ignorance that exists at many levels in the government, not just at town halls like Western or towns like Western, but even higher up in governments in cities, towns, counties, and even in the state. So there is ignorance across the board to be shared with everyone. So here we're going to cover a little bit about the New York State Archives website, where they have all of the types of information that cities, towns, villages, and the state themselves are supposed to have available for the public in a retention schedule that lists hundreds, if not thousands, of discrete documents that are required to be maintained by the towns that you live in, such as Western, for sometimes perpetuity. And I did look up that word before I got here. So forever, and that the town of Western, of course, they're not into that. In fact, last year, there were multiple boxes of documents sitting outside here in the hall that anyone could just grab and look or walk away with, sitting underneath a window that was leaking. Now, who knows if those documents were important documents that were to be kept for perpetuity, or whether or not they were just trash. Well, they didn't look like trash to us, but in any case, that's the kind of ignorance that exists in many levels of the government across New York State, not only in the town of Western. But you can get to that New York State Archives. It's NYSA is the website for New York State. www.archives.newyorkstateed.gov. And here is the important consideration that New York State supplies to towns like Western, were they listening, to help them know how to best support the public that they should be serving, and many times they don't. Here is a statement from New York State's LGS-1 retention schedule program. Storage management. Emails conducting town business are considered town records, regardless of whether they are sent from a government or personal account, and must be managed accordingly. The New York State Archives recommends using structured records management policies, such as the capstone approach, to assure appropriate retention of those records for the people. So it's really a shame that in the next less than 30 days, you're going to see the email accounts of these two folks just disappear into the ether. Maybe they'll keep them for their own period interests. I don't know. They may, but of course, at that point in time, holding on to records like that belong to the public, may not be legal to do. So we'll have to look into that as well. You would believe that important information, such as the last 10 or 15 years of email correspondence concerning issues or concerns in the town, would be important for the people to have to mitigate or minimize any possible legal challenges to the people of Western. Of course, those legal challenges aren't going to be coming to these folks, because even though they tell you they're accountable to the public, their accountability only lasts as long as they're in office. And as soon as they leave office, then the accountability disappears, evaporates into the ether just as quickly as those emails do. So that's a crying shame as well, that in New York State doesn't come after these folks for maintaining those retention schedules the way they do, or the way they should. Now, I don't believe New York State has an entity or a group that manages that side of records retention. I don't think they have the kinds of power to process investigating that kind of an issue, although the comptroller's office is extremely capable of investigating issues with towns like the town of Western 3 years ago, where they found major issues on the accounting side, basically under the then town supervisor, Diane Butler, where there were many egregious concerns that had to be addressed by the town with respect to various receipts, monies in different accounts, and not filing the AFR, the financial report, annual financial report, with the state of New York every year as is required on a time schedule. And of course, that wasn't done by Ms. Butler during her her time at the helm here, at the table of good and evil here in the town of Western. So the other thing here is that the New York State Archives website is like many of the supporting structures that are interwoven in the state of New York to help towns just like this perform at peak efficiency for the towns that they should be serving and many times don't. So in this state archive website, like the comptroller's site, like the Tug Hill Commission's site, and of course the Association of Towns, which is a private entity that does supply support to local towns in New York State. They offer their own training courses for folks like these to learn about the retention of documents, what's required, how to process the documents that they do have, and how to maintain vigilance with the LGS-1 schedule that is required in New York State. Now, of course, we have no clue and highly doubt that anyone on this board has, including the two folks that are leaving at the end of this year, less than 30 days, have ever taken a course on retention requirements or training on how to maintain a system for records management in the town of Western. We do know that in 2023, there were some discussions in the minutes by Mr. Merrick himself about how to develop some kind of a information system that would provide online storage, basically cloud storage, of all the documents that are required to be held via that retention schedule of New York State. Well, that lasted about 15 minutes, and after that 15-minute discussion, that hasn't been heard again for 3 years. So it's quite amazing to see the kinds of behaviors that come out of board members like this, and you know, they are often are very sure to make sure that the public knows how ignorant the public is and how little they know about what it takes to manage a town. But yet here these folks don't even take the courses. They're just doing this. It certainly isn't from memory because they've probably never been. Of course, they won't tell us if they've taken any training because they don't want the public to know how easy or how difficult it could be. Now, why wouldn't a town board who's always looking at growing the kinds of folks in the community, nurturing the kinds of folks that can take over for them, strategic planning, which is very positive for growth in the future. Strategic planning is important. So developing the public ahead of time so that there are many folks that are capable and knowledgeable about the process of managing the town is only good stewardship of the town that you live in. But in Western, you won't see that. Everything here is secret. The only time they actually allow the public to talk is to ourselves or to you before or after the meetings, but they don't want to have any public with the capability of speaking on the record in the town of Western, because for them, what's on the record is the most important thing. They don't care what the people want, what the people are concerned about, because they don't have public comment here in Western. They just don't care. So the less that the people know what these folks are doing, the better it is for the town board in Western. And that's how it's been for quite some time. And we just think it's a crying shame that the community isn't given the option of learning about the town that they live in and pay taxes in. It's really a crying shame. We've got 6:53 on the clock. We're going to get started in about 7 minutes. So I'm going to look at a couple of things. Steve DiMaggio just stepped in, a young lady from Tug Hill Commission just stepped in, and
Yeah, we're waiting for Christina. She's
I don't
got
know.
the other green card.
I don't know what you're saying. Okay. So we've got 7 minutes. I'm going to check a couple of things on the equipment, make sure we're ready to go, and we'll get started. Okay?
Have you seen the little green homes by me?
I don't think I've seen yours, I have seen others, they're so adorable. Do you make the hats?
Yes.
Have you ever been to the
My dad used to do
the old
quite a bit
Agway
of
store?
crane
Yeah, I don't know.
down the barge canal.
Oh, gosh.
Well, the barges, well, no, for the barges coming through, a lot of times they would apparently have a
Canned everything. That's through there.
mechanical issue on the barge itself when they were hauling in. I think one time I remember being on it because it smelled, it was molasses barge. And it was, they were doing, they had a pump or something that had gone wrong, but they brought the pump to Rome. And when he came up the canal, they swung into Rome and put the pump in. But they had to use the crane to set it down in the hole.
I got that food from the deli.
It's just very time consuming. And look at you saying, well,
It was just really slow.
because he wants to
Food was
get
good.
more and more and more. No.
Maybe they figured they can just keep you wandering around the store for a while.
Do you go to the behind you?
Yeah. And he wants to like me.
Yeah, Eddie we built a
There's that place in Bonneville.
60 ton, 65 ton
Cafe.
Yeah.
crane to
They've
go on
done that for
one of
4
the
years.
state
Oh,
parks.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I've only, over the years, I've only seen it once up here.
Each time is-
We put it on over, the other side, almost to Rochester.
I like going out
There was
for
a maintenance area
Good
that they
food.
had.
Oh, I heard those
They
are
had a barge
adorable.
set up
My
on it.
granddaughter insisted after the first year that I had.
I used to go out brush.
But it was up here one time and it,
Oh my
I think, what
goodness,
is this,
you
lot
would be
22 over
better
here?
Okay, correct.
21,
Yeah.
and
They had good.
Marcy, oh, yeah.
I don't know if I've ever been there too.
Anyways, it was there to work on the gate.
In my younger days.
This is the red
Yeah.
hat.
Oh, I like it.
Somewhere. I have a warrant somewhere. There's the warrant.
Oh. What do you do for them?
I buy 6 million pairs of pantyhose at Dollar Tree. And I can get 8 noses out of those legs. And then
That's
I
so
just-
funny.
I didn't go hunting yesterday.
Oh, that's so funny.
That's what I was thinking, I still have a bunch of stuff in my truck I gotta clean out of there, and it's like hunting jackets, hunting boots.
Hi, how are you? Good, how are you? The ladies with the matching. I know, we're waiting for one more.
We're waiting for Christina.
The green jacket robe.
And then there's no George owns the states.
Oh. How big is it really?
We're all set. Everything's good, I think. We've got to set a wage.
Oh, wow.
So you could do that as soon as you have somebody hired. I would have brought you a picture tonight.
I think he was hoping to let him know. Pretty hard.
This can't be in excess of any classified positions under the union contract.
but it could be the same.
I appreciate the vision, I have no vision.
No benefits, no, it's parking lot.
I have an old pair of
I've actually
things,
seen
I
it.
have an old pair of those.
Yeah. Is he making any progress on hiring a full-time person?
I try and do these so they're not Christmassy.
I don't know if he actually feels that he wants that.
Is that snowshoes?
Yeah.
I'm not sure, it's like, now he needs it.
Now he needs the help, and then the summer they'll be sitting around.
We spent some time
Yeah,
with
or, well, they keep their vacations.
Oh, believe it or
summer,
not.
so-
That's good.
but
you don't really find those.
it's
No.
not as demanding.
And if you do their rent, it's way more expensive than you know.
Can I have one of those nice Town of Western pens?
Auction at the.
Yeah, rabbit
Did you find a pair of wooden skis? Not to be easier.
No.
but I think I might be very easy to use.
Only getting a pen.
Me and mine.
Yeah. I was cleaning out my grandma's old garage, and there's a bunch of old cross-country skis and stuff. They're still in decent shape. They're probably worth money, but if you have something,
Look it up,
you have
find out how much
really
they're
good
worth and I'll buy it.
Yeah,
Not too
yeah.
bad.
Like thicker or thinner? No.
The real skinny ones are the old
I
ones.
got the real skinny, like, yeah, I think they're Japanese or something.
No, they're just old.
There's a weird name
These were
on
this
them.
wide and your foot
Yeah, I might have a set of those.
touch the tip with your fingers.
Anna.
They used to say I broke my leg 2 years in a row.
Wait till this,
Oh, gosh. How's things?
Good, how are you?
Great.
Will I see you at Trenton on Wednesday?
No, we're going on Wednesday. It's too bad.
Wait, wait, what's tomorrow? Floyd.
Tomorrow's
Was Floyd last week?
Currently, Floyd is the first Tuesday, but I understand next year that we switched to the
Just a second.
second.
I wasn't at the meeting last week because I was sick.
Oh,
Forgot.
You better now?
Getting better and clear now.
Tis the season.
It is, it's really going around.
I heard that.
It started in my chest.
Did you have like bronchitis or normal?
Everyone rise, please, for the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can you address the issue with the speaker here? It's just buzzy.
Fuzzy?
Just buzz, buzz, buzz.
These are on.
Is it
Is it
buzzing?
still buzzing up? Oh, I can't unless Tyler
I
or
mean,
Larry knows.
Yes.
I don't know what to do for it, Don.
unplug it.
Unplug it and plug it back in?
I would check each one of your microphones, because when you move it, it did go away. Somebody moved it.
Could be like someone has a loose wire somewhere.
The wire might be halfway in or something. There,
Okay?
Better?
that's it.
Okay. Alrighty. Good evening, everyone. We'll start with approval of the previous board minutes. The public hearing and the board minutes. Any corrections, any changes, comments?
No, I thought they were good. No changes.
I am, Dr. Milton's name. Mitchell. Okay, motion to accept,
I'll make that motion.
a second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Approval of bills is submitted by the town clerk.
Alright, highway fund was $160,296.14. General fund was $73,996.41, for a total of $234,292.55.
Any, comments, corrections for Missy? No? Motion to accept,
I make the motion to accept the bills.
and a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Supervisors report. General fund townwide is $2,243,650.46. Highway fund is $1,049,084.79. Reserve facilities is $145,685.33. Reserve machinery, $220,000. Fire protection, $714.25. Street lighting, $6,498.08. For a total of $3,665,632.91. Any questions?
Looks like the town's in good financial shape for December.
Motion to accept,
I'll make a motion to accept the supervisor's report.
in a second.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Preston?
Okay, well, we've been plowing, sanding. Glad to say that. We cut some brush, figure out where the spots are that are hanging a little too low, hitting the trucks, so you get out. We're able to cut some of that, put up some more delineators where there's spots you realize some are missing. We're waiting on that dumpster for the scrap. We just don't have time to do it now, but we did take a load down. Actually, I got a check here for you. $231.03. We've been doing plenty of repairs. Truck 8, we're gonna have a lot of issues with that. That's probably the one that will be replaced. The new truck is in New York, waiting to get outfitted. So hopefully it's soon, because this truck spends more time at the shop than it does in our shop. And it's actually looking like it's probably the same thing that happened on the last truck, plug exhaust filter now, so. Like I said, the new truck's in New York, and hopefully we'll see that within a couple weeks. Then it's not such a rush to get the other one going, but that's about it.
Okey-dokey, thank you. Correspondence. We have a couple of things. First, we have, I'll just state it briefly, we received a letter from the county regarding the United States of America's 250th birthday, and that the county has formed a commission for it. The information is here where your town or somebody was gonna have a celebration, where it would be listed in the contact information. I forwarded this letter to the Historical Society, as they are contemplating having, even though our town isn't quite that old, of doing something. So I forwarded this to Steve Schmidt and Dr. Marriott. Our next correspondence, again from the county. They, well, actually it came through Stephen Swans. The county funding was cut to the Humane Societies. They were not removed. They did not get the funding they were anticipating, and then unless there's a change in that, they will no longer accept dogs from Westernville. They cut. They're not able to care for. Not that we have many. I think we've had one go this year. I talked to our animal control officer, Mr. Alexander, and he's going to reach out to the Rome SPCA, see if they would be willing to take responsibility if we have a pet that has to go. The other issue is that the SPCA out of Syracuse no longer is affiliated with Oneida County, so we don't really have a targeting agent or somebody to assist. But Mr. Alexander did tell me he would give us assistance. And along that note, he had a satisfactory report when they went over his facility in Floyd, which we can't access, but all his equipment and everything he needs was in satisfactory condition. The final piece of correspondence is an email that I received I'm not gonna read the whole thing. Parts of it do not pertain to town business. It pertains to the fire company and that. And basically, Mr. Hale sent this to me this afternoon, that he, it really isn't pleased with us, doesn't think we deserve a raise. He's not happy with the GAR reassessment was harmful, he believes, at best to the residents, and discriminating as applied with flawed or favored assessments. For example, Woods Valley. The fire department things like that, he believes that we did not do due diligence with the solar project on Sly Hill or the following one on Mullen Hill. Those issues can be taken up through other forms if you are that concerned over your property values and that. He's again not happy with our highway department. I don't know what to say about that, because we have one of the best highway departments in the area. If you look at the other towns in this area and you look at the roadways and the hills, you cannot get in or out of Westernville without going up or down a hill. I have been in this town my entire life. My father was a highway superintendent as well as a seasonal employee. That job is not only stressful to the men that work in that department, but to their families. Families go without when you have a person that has chosen to work for here. I have spoken time and time again over the fact that all our neighboring towns are looking for highway employees. There are towns within 7 miles of here that our men could leave and potentially make more money than they're making here. I will continue to advocate that we do what we can to keep these men employed here. And as they age out, to find the workers that we need. Because you can't move around this town without these men. So, that's all I have to say about that. And I believe that was his last thing. He's not happy with me, with Preston, the board in general. So we'll move on. Any FOIL requests?
No FOIL request.
Thank you. Tug Hill?
Hello. Happy December.
Thanks.
Preston, I'm disappointed you didn't have any pointers on the weather today. Anyway, so our announcements for December, we have the Office of the Comptroller is having a webinar on December 10th it's an all-day webinar on accounting principles and procedures. So that can be signed up for yet. The Cornell Local Road program is still offering those free seasonal webinars. Those are on Tuesday mornings, so there is one tomorrow and the following Tuesday. They are from 9 to 10. Tomorrow is road and street legal issues, and the next one is on asset management. The ATV recreation program that was scheduled for this Thursday, December 11th, up in Bloomville, the Tug Hill Commission and NOCOG were doing that jointly. Has actually been rescheduled to January 8th. There was a couple conflicts that came up on that. I think on both the NOCOG and Tug Hill Commission end. So it's rescheduled to Thursday, January 8th, same time at 7, same place, Bloomville Municipal Offices. If anybody had signed up, they did send you an email or reach out to you to let you know of that change. If you're interested in the topic but not able to attend, the Tug Hill Commission has updated their issue paper on the ATV recreation topic, and you can access that on their website. The New York State Town Clerks Association is having regional training on December 15th, so a week from today. That's going to be held down in Corning. That's for the day. $40 to attend, does include breakfast and lunch, and will focus on workplace violence and de-escalation techniques, and also offers the time for our clerks to get to know other clerks and just kind of set up a clerking network. Our NOCOG Executive Committee meeting for December is December 18th. at 2 o'clock, and it's going to be held here. So thank you for allowing us to meet here in your building. Next week on the 18th, that group, the MRB group and the Hancock group that was doing the monthly webinars, the little boot camp sessions, their topic for this month is just kind of like the best and worst of 2025. And as I think I've mentioned in the past, if you're unable to attend but interested in their topics, if you sign up, they do provide a link for you to access it later on. And those are free as well. New York State Association of Towns is offering newly elected town official training in January. There's 2 different sessions available. One is the 14th through 16th, and that is in the Albany area. And the following week there is one the 21st to the 23rd down in Corning. And there's a link to sign up for that if you're interested. And at this point, as we all know, the New York State had delayed the New York all-electric building mandate for any new construction. So that is pushed off at least for 3 years. And I think that is all I have. I wish you all a merry and safe Christmas, happy holidays, and
Same to you.
thank you. If there's
Thank
anything
you.
that we can do, just reach out to any of us on the NOCOG staff.
Okay, thanks. Christina is not feeling well, but she asked me to remind everybody that Wednesday, December 17th, 6 p.m. is Cookies with Santa, and every child will receive a book, a new book. And that will be followed by Bluegrass concert at 7 p.m. by the Mohawk Valley Bluegrass Band. And that's all she had to report. Steve?
The next thing I have, since you brought it up, was the Stephen Swan Humane Society. I think the board, we were all ready to vote for that, and then a couple legislators spoke, and it just so happened that one of the legislators was chief of staff in Utica, and he spoke, and they spoke negatively about Stephen Swan, and I wasn't sure what they were doing for us. And I wish I had the letter because it was in my packet, but a couple people from Deerfield spoke, and it wasn't real, it wasn't abrasive, but it was negative. So without any conversation, that $100,000 that was allocated for them got voted down 23-0. So after we heard what we heard, now I don't know if that's a repercussion for, I don't know why why they say the town of Western, or whether they just don't want any towns and villages.
Yeah, I don't think we were the only
You weren't
town.
singled out? Yeah,
No,
so,
I don't know. They just said that they didn't receive anticipating funding from, for Oneida County.
yeah, well, the reason, one of the reasons that that was voted down 23-0, they're not taking any new animals. They quadrupled their, let's say 3 to 4 times their rates, and they do nothing for the county. So why are we giving them this money? And one other thing was brought up, now that you jogged my memory, they had some fundraising going on in Utica, and Stephen Swan Humane Society raised $1.2 million. Those are for the animals. The next closest not-for-profit was the Abraham House, and I can't remember whether it was 23 or 26,000. So you tell me who needs that money, and you already know how I feel about it, because like you said, that we voted it down 23-0.
Right.
As part of that 23. So anyways, that's what I have about that. Ditching, I don't know if you heard about the ditching. It's if you've received anything on that for this year, you're gonna get hold on, I have it on one of these pages.
Yeah.
Municipalities will give 40 hours of ditching in 26 and 27 together, and will be paid $13,826 and $14,000 in 2027. The county will pay the combined equipment and rates set by the Federal Emergency Management Agency for governments and not-for-profits. the county's maximum 2-year cost is $750,000 on that project. Then I was also, if you needed, or you put in too many hours and you wanted to, or you needed to put in more hours, if you notify the county, and if there's any existing funds there, they'll go over that 40, and that'd be by request, okay? And the last thing I had is, and I don't, I go to the Floyd meetings, I go to the Lee meetings, I don't know if I brought this up, we got a proposed budget of increase on the tax levy at 2.9 or $1.9 million. It was a proposed budget, and after deliberation, 3 or 4 different meetings, we decided that that's where it was gonna stay. And if we didn't do something this year, the uncertainty of what's happening with Medicaid and the SNAP program, and we don't know what's coming down. But I think we all agreed in the end that if we didn't put this 2.9% increase in on the tax after 12 years of no tax increase, that you were going to pay a higher price next year. So there's a lot of uncertainty. We're hoping things work out, and we're hoping for the best, but I think that, they approach this with, like I say, with uncertainty. The other thing is, with this budget, and you can see they were on the conservative side, that the capital projects were borrowing $13 million this year, which is not bad when you consider that we're going to retire $17 million. So that's kind of a good thing. Let me see what else I have here. I think, when all is said and done with the property tax levy, 12 towns and cities, their rates went down. And I don't know if you know this, but your rate went down 1 cent. It went from 4.28 is your rate to 4.27. So, yeah, it's better than, they raised it to 2.9. But the way, I have this written down here, and I don't completely understand this. Okay, let me pick up on this, I already told you that. Says the towns and cities and county tax rate vary among municipalities. State set equalization rates are to ensure that county tax is equitable across the county. And that's the reason. And I'm not a real genius when it comes to equalization rates and assessments and all that, and how every town or city does it, but that's one, and it's like I say, it's set by the state. Having said all that, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Thank you.
I went longer than I anticipated, but thank you for the time.
That's okay, thank
Told them
you.
their taxes didn't go up.
Under old business, just giving a quick update on the Main Street, the concern with speeding on Main Street. The Sheriff's Department told me they would be in patrolling the Main Street and also set out with their radar gun. The digital sign, I haven't reached out to them yet. She gave me another number to call. It goes through another agency, but we probably will wait till spring, not be in the way of plowing on Main Street. So you may see more Sheriff's Department floating around. They asked me where we thought, and I said like here off of Stokes Westernville Road and down around the library, post office area might be good. They wanted places where they can get off the road, kind of, not be in the way. And I added another another old business to finalize for Preston hiring temporary employee, which we know, if somebody walks through the door and is interested in and acceptable to the highway department, that we don't necessarily have to advertise, but there were some questions about what we were gonna pay, and I looked on the 2026 schedule, the lowest is 2122, up to a truck, the equipment operator in that 2611. So then Catherine suggested we go with the lowest.
Yep, it just can't be in excess of any of the rates for the classified jobs under the contract. So we were authorized to hire temporary workers, and the board can now authorize them to be paid at that rate that Anna just mentioned if it wants to. And
But the 21 is for what?
Well, that's it, that's what I said, that's a laborer rate.
It's a laborer, they're
And
not
they're gonna
laborers
be
if they drive a
drivers.
truck. Right,
Well, that's why I suggested 21, if we listed 2122 to 2611, because in the summertime, if they're just helping out or flagging versus driving,
but
or
I
if you
thought
want to separate.
I thought it was temporary, so it's only winter, isn't it?
they're temporary based on the amount of hours that they work and based on them only being hired for a certain reason or for a season. So if you're only hiring them for the winter, they're temporary. Yep. So I think it's a good idea to do the rate schedule based on the type of work they're doing. Just nobody can get paid more than what the contract lists as the wages.
So what you need would be 2611.
If they're a truck driver, I mean, that's,
Up to.
Yeah,
Up to 2611, but the board's gonna have to approve the hiring of a temporary worker anyway, so the board can approve the pay for the particular worker at that meeting anyways.
and, you know, if it's like Rob, just have him fill out his paperwork and then we'll send it to the county to get him approved. Were there other concerns with doing it? Do you want us advertising, or do you,
I don't know.
okay?
We'll figure it out.
Okay.
We want to do it tonight, right?
What?
Establish what the rent pay is so that you can.
Well, I thought they just said what it had to be within those.
gotta
Just-
pass it.
They said that they're
They
gonna,
just pay them the union scale.
That is the union scale, based on what their job is. 2122 is a laborer. 2023.24 is a truck driver. 26.11 is a driver plus equipment operator. On the union scale, that's what they'll be paid in 26.
but we still have to try to fill the full-time position, you said.
Well, yeah, if you're
If you-
authorized to have a full-time position, but if you can't find somebody who wants to do it, you know. you
But
could-
we don't have to fill that to hire a seasonal
Yeah, you don't
worker.
have to fill that to hire a seasonal worker, a temporary
At the
worker.
last meeting, you said that they couldn't do what those workers would do if we didn't fill that position.
No.
It's only if you have the availability of this full-time position, and you should try to fill it. But if you can't find anybody who wants it full-time, or you need additional help, then you have the authority to hire a temporary laborer. You can have all. If you find a full-time worker, great. I believe you still authority for him to have temporary help as he needs it in the winter. And if you're looking for somebody to fill the position, but you only are finding people to be temporary, that's fine.
But we still need to run an ad to try to fill the full-time position?
Yes, you
Okay.
should still run an ad to fill the full-time position, and you can run an ad for temporary too, if you want to. But if you
I
have,
couldn't because we didn't know what the pay was on
just,
it.
you can run it now and state that the pay is up to, depending on qualifications. It'll be fine. They were giving you when they voted to give you the additional full-time person at the last meeting, that was because in the hopes that you'd be able to fill it, but also because we know that you're short-staffed right now. And we know that having the full-timer will be good in the summer if you can get it hired, but that in the winter, you might still need additional workers, which is why you're authorized for temporaries too. So, my my understanding is that whenever you hire somebody, the board has to approve the hire. So if you find a person, temporary or full-time, the board's gonna have to approve them, and they'll approve their actual, what they're gonna get paid rate at that time too, based on the qualifications that you're gonna tell the board that they have or not, or what kind of work they'll be doing.
Does the board have to approve who he's hiring, or since we authorized him to
Don't we-
hire
don't
somebody?
The last meeting you
No,
said
I
that
don't
I
think
had
we-
authorization.
Yeah, you have the
no, I think-
authorization, but don't you usually accept resignations and
No.
hires?
No.
Oh,
Only
okay.
for the county part, we had to.
Oh,
with
okay, well
Rob
then you're
when
good
he
then.
left.
All right, well then now you know the salary rate,
Yeah.
and you're good.
Because he finds a good candidate, we don't want
Right.
to slow up the
Yeah,
process, so
then you're good to
wait
go
until
then.
the next meeting.
All right.
We don't have, I don't think we have authority over Preston or something like that.
I think
And
maybe
that's-
everyone's doing a little different, because in some of the towns, the highway superintendent will say, okay, I found this gentleman, and he does the job, and then it'll be on the agenda for the board to approve the hire, and they'll, accept the resignations when people leave and stuff like that, but however you wanna do it here.
Yeah, we only had to do Rob because if the county, take him off the county.
Yeah. Well,
He's
then he's
never been removed,
So the-
paperwork thing.
So then does the board just wanna vote to set the rates for a temporary laborer tonight, based on the pay scale and the union contract?
Yeah.
Okay.
He should be able to tell a potential employee what the pay is gonna be.
Yeah, and that's in the union contract, it's right there.
Yeah, that it
It's listed out for 2026, what it is.
Right.
Yep, and then,
And it clearly states you cannot go over that rate.
yep, for
When you
temporary
hire-
workers, yep.
Page 16, 4.2, I think it is, when I looked it up.
Did you get that tattooed up?
Yeah, I did. No, I wrote it on a piece of paper because I'm old. So, does somebody want to put a motion
Yeah, I'll
forward,
make that
please?
motion.
In a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Oh, well, we probably should, up to 2611.
We'll
Yeah,
just
the
list it as the
policy
same
union
as
contract.
the pay scale for the union contract.
Yeah. Thank you. Is there any other old business before I move on?
Old business? No, I don't believe so.
Okay. Under new business, I had listed animal control. I don't think there's anything else to say about it. Hopefully Jerry, he said he had a contact with Rome and he would try to get us in there.
Okay. It was nice that Steve explained
Right.
what transpired.
Yeah, because the letter doesn't really,
No.
just says, we're not gonna renew your contract.
Anna, there's that $100,000 sitting there, right now, and I brought up Saturday, we had a little, caucus going and, what to do with that $100,000. And with the situation that we're in with, Stephen Swan and even, other towns and villages who have this animal control, is to maybe distribute that money,
Yeah,
by request from towns and villages that, or I don't, that we were just throwing around.
yeah, we don't have a facility here to maintain a dog with.
Yeah. But places like Deerfield,
Yeah,
pardon me? Yeah.
okay.
So anyways, that's something that, I know that we'll talk about.
Okay, thanks. The next item I had under new business was the Board Assessment Review Board. Dwayne will be stepping down because of his winning to become a town council person. So there will be an opening on that board. I have had a name suggested to me, but if anyone is interested, they can reach out to me and let me know. And does anybody have anything to say about the Assessment Review Board? Okay. Budget transfers, Larry is going to.
Give me a second to get my notes organized.
Okay.
Okay, so I went through the financial reports that you distributed a couple of days ago, and I also looked at the warrant that Missy sent me a couple of days ago to make sure that we're pretty balanced. Anything that we missed tonight, and then any additional bills that we pay in the next couple of weeks, we can cover at the year-end meeting.
Okay.
So the first one that we need to transfer is, I saw that our street lighting, we only have $234.21 left in that, and then we have to pay the bill for tonight, so we're gonna come up short $495.37. So we should take that from the street lighting unexpended balance. Anything else you need for that?
Is there a number, line number?
For the street lighting unexpended balance, there's not, but for the line item for the expenses, SL1 5182.4, and that's for moving in $495.37.
That'll just exactly do it.
Yeah, that'll take care of it to the end of the year. Under the general fund, I'll try to go slowly on these. If I give you all the numbers you need, just let me know. The first one is personal services A1110.1 is short $204.13. So we should move in that amount of money from the contingency account, which is 1990.4. All set? Or let me know when you're, okay. For expense item A1355.4, we're short $1,156.21. So we'll move in that amount of money from the contingency account also. Line item 1990.4. For line item A1470.4, we're short $400. So we'll move in that amount of money from the contingency account A1990.4. Now I got a couple of changes here based on new bills tonight. Okay, A1620.4 will be short 18,000. So we'll move 18,000 from line item A1620.2. All set? Okay. For A1620.42, just a second. Yeah. Okay, yeah, for A1620.42, we're short $76,800. That's the winter damage. So we'll move in that amount of money from the general fund unexpended balance. All set? For A1910.4, we're short $7,589.13. And we'll populate that from the contingency account 1990.4. For account A 1920.4, we're short $175. And we'll take that money from the contingency account also, 1990.4. All set? Okay. For account A 3310.4, we're short $799.76. And we'll take that money from the contingency account 1990.4. Okay, that's all for the general fund. Now the hard part. For the chips, since we're over, are we gonna get all that from, that'll be in the check that we're gonna get in the next week or two, right? Okay. So, for DA 5112.2, that's for road construction, we need 114,806.69. And that'll come from the DA unexpended balance, which we're getting reimbursed from.
What's the number?
Unexpended balance, that's just just tell them unexpended balance, yeah. Because we're gonna get all that money back in December from the chips anyways, so that's why we're pulling it from the unexpended balance. Okay, so for the machinery, DA 5130.2. Since we are paying for the loader, which really is getting reimbursed from the FEMA funds from a few years ago, we need an additional $6,000, which will come from the DA unexpended balance.
No, we still gotta pay for that new truck,
Or when's that coming in?
couple weeks.
Okay, then we can cover that at the next,
Okay,
At the end.
because it's about the amount you have there.
okay. Well, after he does all these bills this week, we'll get a new version of this, so then we can tidy up everything at the end.
Okay,
Do you know what the payment is for the new truck?
no, it was 112 something.
Why don't we do this? I would recommend, why don't we, because the loader's coming out of the FEMA money anyways, which is the money that's coming from our unexpended balance, let's move in to the DA 5130.2, $121,833.44 from the DA unexpended balance. And then you can put in parentheses the FEMA fund. Okay? So that'll cover the loader.
Right.
And then we'll have
Balance
probably 50.
should cover the
Yeah.
truck.
Right.
Right.
And if we're short a couple thousand, we can take care of
I
that.
think we'll have a couple left.
Yeah. If we're over a couple thousand, that's better. Yeah. It's a good idea. Okay. All set on that? Okay. DA 5130.41. We're short $5,085.81, but let's move in $6,000 from DA 5130.4. So I think on the warrant there's a few $100 there, so. All set on that? Okay.
What was the amount?
$6,000. For DA 5140.4, move in $600 from unexpended balance. Okay. On DA 5140.42, which is flood damage FEMA, move in $80,632.08 from the DA unexpended balance. Because that's all funded through FEMA. I think that's it.
I did have a question though. On that 5130.41 where you're taking 6,000 out of my equipment repair.
130.4. Yep.
That's all, that was insurance monies from the building that collapsed. That's all repairs and rentals. I mean, why are we taking that out of my equipment?
Well, just to balance this, because all that money that we got from insurance, it goes into your unexpended balance. It's the same. You're not losing any money. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And that's it.
Okay.
That's all I know.
Motion to accept the transfers.
I'll make that motion that we accept transfers.
A second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Any other new business? No. At the bottom, if you picked up the agenda tonight, I just did note that there's a fundraiser coming up December 18th for the fire department. It's being hosted by a woman named Bambi Patterson, who was very grateful for the services of our fire company. She had been in a fire, is my understanding. It's being held at Vernon Downs Hotel. It's $30 a ticket, and it's bingo and door prizes and things, I guess. It also benefits the Clark Burn unit. We will be adjourning tonight's meeting to December 29th for the end of the year meeting, to make sure everything, Monday, December 29th.
Is that 7 o'clock?
Yeah, at 7. So can I have a motion to adjourn, please?
I'll make that motion.
In a second?
I'll second.
All right, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Preston.
So that's the end of the meeting here. It's 7:48 p.m. The meeting was approximately 48 minutes. Not a lot out of the ordinary for a final meeting per se of the Town Board of Western. This is how it's gone generally for the last 3 years that we've been recording these meetings. Generally, though, if we look at the process that was being followed by Mr. Merrick as he was moving these funds about, you could see that if you look at the basic documents that were handed to us by the town for this meeting, there were none of those movements, none of those accounts listed, none of those balances listed. There was no information whatsoever for the public to follow along with those transfers from one account to another account by this town board or by Mr. Merritt. Now, the problem with that is that in New York State, the state requires that boards like this provide that documentation up front to the public so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of these board members. Now, New York State says that for one reason and one reason only. New York State understands that the money that's being moved around here does not belong to these board members. This money is your money. It belongs to you. And if it's coming out of one account and going into another account, we have no idea what those balances are. They're just saying, we got enough money, we'll move it. Would you like to know how much money is in those accounts? Why is it important to you? You see, these aren't slush funds for political desires for town board members. These are the people's funds for managing the towns that they've paid in taxes over the years. And those funds are the responsibility of the people, and therefore the people should know how those funds are being expended, how those funds are being saved, how those funds are being returned to services in the town that the public pays those tax dollars for. So for a board to go through this process and simply say to the people that are sitting in the audience, forget about it. It's just not reality. You can't tell the people that own that money that they have no business understanding what's happening to it. New York State understands this. Towns like Western do not understand this. That is a crying shame here that we have that kind of a situation occurring here. And we have no idea whether Dwayne Wheeler right here in the blue coat is going to be following that same process of not informing the public in the future of where this town stands financially. We foiled the town for a common, everyday foiled record of the town's accounting procedures with respect to balances of all accounts, additions to those accounts, the paid outs or decrementing of those accounts. And the town basically told us to pound sand. It wasn't our business. Go away, do something else, but don't ask for those again. And they failed to answer that FOIL with a valid reason. Now, we could spend $400 and sue them, sue the town. For what? They would give us a few accounts and then we would be happy. They would do it again and again, and we would pay $400 again and again. That's simply the way a crooked board like this one here in Western runs its slimy business of managing the town without the public being able to see, hear, understand, or comprehend how the town is being managed, because they don't care about you, they just care about themselves. So we're going to be ready to go here in a couple of minutes. It's 7:53. We're going to get out of here. Thanks so much for joining us here tonight for Town of Western Civic Affairs in the Town of Western. It is December 8th, 2025. Thanks so much for being with us. Your town, your community, your future. Bye-bye. Okay, we're offline. How'd it go tonight? So how does it go? How does it go for you when you got 3 people talking? What is it?
It's rough.
Because it mixes the words. It doesn't know that there's like 3 people.
It's weird, and it doesn't. The thing is, it really does pour on those numbers. Like when she's rattling off numbers, and it's like you're reading, and it's just like that's completely wrong. There was one time where she said 46 cents, and it showed up 43 cents, and it's like that's not good.
Blasphemy.
It's trying though. I tried messing with the settings a little tonight, but there wasn't really a whole lot to mess with.
Yeah. Very good. Well, you're getting it right.
Hopefully, I mean, they should be. I don't know. Should be live here soon, hopefully.
So you're not doing the planning and zoning board meetings?
I did the zoning this last time.
Oh, did you? That's
Yeah,
right.
I
you
didn't
did.
do it. I didn't do my first one because I wasn't sure, and then after that, I started doing it. So, yeah.
Good for
I
you.
recorded what, 2 of them now?
Yeah, that's great. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yeah, be cool.